night in the stew with a blunt and a lab coat. Got fur on the collar cause I paid top dollar. That's a purebred Billy Goat Park that I'm cut from. Young nigga from the A1. If bad bitches wanna say something nowadays, I got godly ways. I'm trying to get the whole world just to elevate. I'm on barely no time to wait. 5 in the morning, got crust in my eyes, it's a wake and bake. I ain't really seen a bed in days. Still my dreams every fucking day. Just swimming in the ocean. So I've been so focused, in love with my purpose, and now I'm on Mars taking shots with the serpent. I'm hot as a furnace, you bitches will freeze on the surface. They go ahead, grab a thermos. Don't stay around niggas who don't know they self, cause they energy be make nervous. If I had 2 words to describe my vibe, I'd probably say highly deserving or supremely deserving. Put the inner work first when it hurts, and I learned that it's worth it. The life of a hermit, relieve my burdens for yearning for shit that don't serve me no good. Picked up my shorty, she rode in the wood. Used to feel I wasn't far as I should be. Number one way to fuck up, I had to say fuck it, my mind keep it muted. Created thoughts that would go using my foot to follow the music. Got the advantage, now I don't abuse it.
Niggas be demons and find it amusing. What the fuck is that?
All I know is they wanna see the fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Jackie New in the building. He had it early today.
I'm making my own way. 2 feet on my own stage. I feel like today. I feel like God today. I'm making my own way. 2 feet on my own stage.
Shout out to all the kiddos back to school.
I feel like
Class is back in. What up? It's your boy Dave B. You watching Dave B on TV, where we go beyond the everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. And like I put in the title, you know what I'm saying, the moon sliding into Libra. It's 1 degree right now, so we're right on it. So for the most part, I put in the title, what I say, as either it's a relatable character or it's a ego imbalance. You know what I'm saying? So ego imbalance is gonna look like you expressing yourself. You know, that key word I've been using, sustainability, as far as, you know, this true self of yours. Like the way you're expressing yourself is like, hey, if that's not true, this is where it's going to start to show, you know what I'm saying? Because this is, and the irony in it is that Leo and Libra make a sextile. So you would think, oh, this is some G, you know what I'm saying? But what you don't realize is that, you know, it's easy to get tripped up right now, just due to the fact of the type of like the energy overall. Because right now it's retrograde in Mercury, right? And it's in Virgo. So what people don't realize is that Virgo is keeping track of every single detail. Now, Leo can exaggerate details sometimes. Libra can kind of, with Libra, it's an air sign, so it can be airheaded about details. These are 2 sides of Virgo, right? But this is where it's almost like you ever been close to somebody, but because you think you know them, and you might slip up and say something that you assume that they like or they're into, and then they look at you crazy like, that ain't what I like. So when you got energies that's like next to a sign, like a sign right there in the middle, you got that on both ends, it's almost like you might overshadow what's right in the middle based upon you too involved in the you know, especially, you know, we got planets in these 2 other energies. And so we're back and forth with these. The moon making us comfortable to relate, to just communicate now, right? So we're going to start to feel this energy like, oh, I want to be more sociable. I want to share more of my character. I want to do this, that, and the third. Or the sun has already been in that space where everybody is starting to be a lot more out there with how they express themselves and putting things out there. Now, again, if this isn't true to you, what's going to end up happening is you might start to say certain things and get involved in certain conversations. People start, and you won't realize it because it's going to feel good to be all relatable, all up in everybody's face. You're going to start to feel too good, and you're going to start to say a bunch of things that later on Virgo is going to have a receipt for. And Virgo is going to basically look at you and say, okay, let's go down the checklist. Did you really do what you said you was finna do? Did you really mean that? Is that what you really meant? You know, because you don't realize it right now how your character is being portrayed. You're just trying to relate it. And so if this is not coming from a true place, it's not really you. Again, sustainable. Later on, when it's time to answer for a lot of the things that you might have set up now as an opportunity, it could be an opportunity for something that come back to bite you. So that's just something to be aware of. You know what I'm saying? You still want to put yourself out there, but it's all we have to do a lot of self-checking. Check ourselves when it comes to, like, you know, is that really how I feel? And is that really how I see things? And is that what I really want to put out as far as a piece of my character to be basically they call it to be aware of and analyze from somebody outside of me. If it's not you, then you might not need to express it at the moment. Now the moon is making a trine with Mars too, so this is being comfortable with passions and a lot about passions. Or this could be kind of like this is the time where gossip is real good, especially if it's negative. You know, you're gonna see online, social media, and even probably certain political things being spoke about that are about inciting something in you that make you want to participate mentally. And participation on a mental level is really all they want from you, right? Because where your mind goes, the body goes. You start to feel a lot of time, like you don't realize what your mind is on in that space, right? That's like you traveling to a certain space. When you go to a certain space, you feel the vibe of it. So the feeling's coming. If you think in a certain way about something, the feelings are coming, even if you don't see them at the moment. So you got to be very mindful of what you around you, as far as what you can audibly hear. So people talking around you, what they talking about, it's gonna feel, you might be inspired to get involved in a conversation, but you got to consider what's the vibration, what's the content talking about. If they talking about a bunch of bullshit, here I go, about to involve myself in bullshit. It's gonna feel good right now when everybody's just chit-chatting, but again, like I said, that Virgo retrograde in the middle saying, hey, we still need to stay on track with business. We need to stay focused on what we trying to do, the other bullshit. So another way to understand this too, I believe this creates a yod. Yod is a very powerful energy in astrology, because it's a sextile, right? That is opposing. It's not really making the opposing alignment, but it's making these two sides of a sextile are basically in conjunction what's on the other end. So the in conjunction would be Pisces energy, where we got Saturn. So and this is exactly what I mean by right now we're gonna commit something. We have a high probability to completely misunderstand the reality of a situation based upon how emotionally involved we are in it. So Pisces and having Saturn there, everything right now is feeling a little sensitive when it comes to your structure and things you got going on. You know, everybody's working diligently, but we see what's going on outside. Seem like everything crumbling. You know, they already put out news stories about you know, oh, the market crashed this way, and you know, we don't know what's going to happen with everything is inflated. You know what I'm saying? Prices of everything is ridiculous. Nobody's making enough money to pay their rent and shit like that. So they're already playing off of that Pisces energy. And the thing about Pisces is the setup with Pisces energy. What we got to realize is that a lot of times how you feel about it is more powerful than the reality of it. So instead of being able to, so what'll happen is, right, this is where the illusion begins, or in the deception, the self-deception. Because let's say you are in a situation where you kind of around a lot of people who might be talking about certain things. Now, I'm saying they might be talking, how did you get in here? Get you out. You know what I'm saying? People talking about certain things, people worried about what's going on financially. People around you stressing about these things. You start to pick up that vibration. Next thing you know, these things are, and again, you might have certain bills that you're trying to balance and juggle with. You already affected by these things in your reality, but instead of being able to be in a space where we can utilize this Mercury retrograde and this Venus even to start to come up with solutions to this, you are, you know what I'm saying, instead of coming up to solutions with this, you end up putting yourself in a situation where you start wasting time based upon you feeling too much about certain things. You feeling too connected, what feels like a victim story. You feel too connected to, damn, it's a recession going on, everybody around me stressed, I could barely pay the bills, damn, what if I can't do this, what if I can't do this? And now it's like you abusing this Virgo energy. You know what I'm saying? This Virgo energy is supposed to be like, wait a minute, let me get a grip for a second. I know that this is not working, but this, that, and the third may be working. What can I put together to start to make sense out of my circumstance so that I don't have to play victim? I can actually take advantage of what I do have, make out of that. And then next thing I know, I might just come up again. I might just strike gold. You know what I'm saying? And then that's the form of developing that. How Virgo would develop faith. You know, that's how Virgo energy can develop faith, by actually starting to put into practice certain solutions to issues that that anxiety led you to. So that anxiety sparks something in you but you didn't let it just take you for a ride and abuse you. You took that anxiety and you said, oh, this is just signal, right? Forget how I feel about it. This is just a signal reminding me that there's something I need to address in my reality. And if I address it and look at it, ins and outs of it, I can put together some form of a solution that, again, not happen overnight, but through routine and practice, I can get to a point that I'm satisfied, and that's what I can believe in at this point. I can see this can work for me. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Arda. You know what I'm saying? He said, you guys got to practice this detached from money. You know what I'm saying? He said, here for class. Shout out to Pamela. So, yeah, he said detached from money. I mean, emotionally, and don't let money rule you. Understand what you use the money for. You know what I'm saying? You always have enough, right? Abundance mindset. You know what I'm saying? You really have to understand that, you know, when it comes to anything that becomes the source of your anxiety, you know, the source of it. The thing about anxiety is it's not truth. Anxiety is, again, just as much of a fantasy as an imagination of you winning $1 million. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's fictional. Anxious about something that hasn't happened yet. So, you know, instead of worrying about it in the present, that's where all the power is. So if you address issues in the present, boom, next thing you know, all of that stuff starts to unfold. And you just, but see, the issue with a lot of individuals, a lot of humans, nobody wants to sit around with a negative feeling, understanding that you are not that feeling. So yeah, you might feel like shit at the moment, but that's not the truth. That's just will pass. Just like how 10 minutes ago you felt happy and you thought nothing could bring you from that happiness. You thought you was gonna be happy forever. No, things come in ebb and flows. We have to let everything pass. Everything come and flow. You know what I'm saying? We don't think, because once we start holding stuff, this is where we make ourselves basically sitting targets. When you get, you know, these emotions that are meant to pass by, second you take an emotion and you sit too long in it, you start to think of that. So you basically, you were limitless and nothing could touch you, right? Because you was no thing. Now all of a sudden you have a soft spot. Now all of a sudden you have something that's a vulnerability, but it's really not even a vulnerability. We talk about vulnerability being a power, and once you turn it into an ego, it's like it's a superpower. Instead, you got an insecurity. So you're not vulnerable. Now you're just insecure. You're trying to hide away from something because you're too afraid of how it makes you feel. And that's the issue with human nature and human beings and people who don't to separate from their human experience to remind themselves, hey, I'm a spirit. I'm in control. I'm setting the tone of this. I created this. So, you know, this is where you got to put your shit, you know what I'm saying? You got to put your kids in check, basically, because thoughts and feelings, these are your kids. These are your offspring. Your spirit is, you know what I'm saying? You can't let these things rule you. You have to use these things. These are your tools. Again, like I was saying, even about, you know, when you create certain feelings, there's certain feelings you can lead to motivate. Like all feeling is fuel. So, you know, you either creating that premium for yourself to get you where you need to go, or you producing fuel that's insufficient, fuel that's not going to get you the distance, not going to help you go the distance. If anything, is going to make out a gas faster, make your ideas seem like they don't have legs. You know, you lose all faith in your ability to get out of your circumstance regardless of how it looks. You know what I'm saying? When that's all we really, again, all this stuff around us to some degree is fabricated. We got to understand this is all a game. And I'm not talking simulation theory, get lost in something else. I'm speaking on just all of this is like, it really is, you know, something that we need to, you have to realize your power in it. And part of realizing your power is just knowing yourself. But that becomes so convoluted based upon, and the trauma is what makes certain things seem like the devil, but it's not really. It's just a tool. Things like money. Money is the root of all evil. No, it's the trauma based upon what people had to do to get that money, and what like to not have it in a world that praises it. So it's not that money was the root of all evil. It's just the trauma that it created based upon whoever set these things and made them important to you. You know what I'm saying? Money is just a piece of paper, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, most part, you said, what does a Catholic priest and a Father Christmas have in common? Little boy, that man, yeah, this stuff is crazy, you know what I'm saying? Because all that, we ain't gonna talk about that. That's, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know people would be trolling this early. That's crazy. Like, you just woke up, or maybe you in a different country. That's interesting. But anyway, so when we talk about its moon in Libra, like I was saying, so getting back to that, when it's creating a yod with, so we have, let's look at the planets involved. We have the Libra, right? That's sextiling the sun in Leo. And what else is in Leo? Just the sun? I think just the sun. Hold on, I got a picture of it. I think it's just the sun. Yeah, just the sun. So we got the sun in the making a sextile. No, not even making a sextile. Yeah, making a sextile. I'm tripping. I was looking at yesterday's chart. Yeah, so it's making a sextile, and that sex yoding is creating a yod on the other side of Saturn. How we feel and how we see things, these things have the opportunity to get together, right? These have an opportunity with how we feel and what we want ourselves, how we see ourselves, and how we want to express ourselves. These things have an opportunity to be in alignment. So that's part of that true character and your ability to relate that, right? Through communication. But the issue is the misunderstanding between how we feel about reality and what an illusion that we lost in based upon what we think is a restriction or the restrictions we place in ourselves. You know what I'm saying? You said Canada. Okay, damn. Okay, we all over. You know what I'm saying, Stephanie? Shout out to you. Okay, 8:30. Yeah, we early. You know what I'm saying? But the trolls up. I'm like, damn, the trolls up early too. Like, but y'all had jobs. Guess not. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, you know what I'm saying? But it's funny, like, had y'all spending time here, you know what I'm saying? Giving me some energy and shit like that, or giving us all in the chat some energy. You know, we gonna keep on using that. That's good stuff. So, like I was saying before, so the sun and moon is making a yod reality. So with a yod, the whole idea of a yod, right? So it's an opportunity, but it's an opportunity that we might not be able to see yet, based upon it being a misunderstanding to the energy across from it. But using those two, that sextile, we can come to a better conclusion on how to align ourselves with, in conjunction, right? We can use the power of the sextile to then formulate a better view. And that's the same, I use the analogy of driving. You know, it's a two-lane street, and you know, you look down for a second and you to cross over into another lane, so you misunderstood based upon not paying attention. Oh, you look up and you got just enough time to make an adjustment on your side and avoid a head-on collision. So that's kind of what we able to do. Now we already have energies in those opposite signs, so that's Pisces and Virgo, right? So right now it's almost like that sextile creating a better wing and feeling about reality at the moment, right? And being able to see through or push through the illusion that we in, we are able to create a balanced situation where it's going to start to make more sense on why we need to incorporate their energy and how we can go about doing that in a way that actually gets us moving forward, not keeps us stifled. You know what I'm saying? So the whole nature of that is pretty much what we're gonna go into. I'm gonna come back around to it. So keep that in mind right now. We're misunderstanding reality, but how we see and feel opportunity to work together in order to go about reality in a better way. And Virgo has a message. It's a way we can be more efficient in this whatever we are going through at the moment, this experience we're going through. Speaking of experience, let's talk about Jupiter. So Jupiter's making a trine with the moon. So we have the gift of wisdom and communication. But see, Jupiter being in Gemini, what seems wise may not actually be wise. So we have to be kind of more aware of what it is that we're receiving as information and not get too lost in it. It's like positive representations of information is like things you actually want to learn about, things involving, again, things true to you and things relating to what you're actually trying to achieve in the world, versus things that you the gift of the information on the negative end, things like gossip that doesn't pertain to anything you got going on, things that sound entertaining and full of something, but it kind of leads you on to be distracted. So again, like I was saying before, shit like Twitter and all the media platforms, these things, it's gonna be it's gonna take a lot for you to not be distracted by these things. And when I say distracted, I don't mean just scrolling, but also being too intertwined or connected to the info coming in and out of whatchamacallit, the information coming from these social media sites. You know what I'm saying? What talking about? Because people ain't talking about nothing right now. People are talking about celebrities, and they're creating arguments about who to vote for and who not to vote for. So all the information we really getting from the internet is nothing that's really going to help you life. So we have to understand that we have to limit that time, or put that some kind of, make it make sense in your life. Make sure you allocate a smaller amount of time to that, and look at it like, oh no, that's distraction. This is purely of the world. So if unless I'm on these social media sites trying to spread my message, or trying to do something involved in my real life, there's no reason for me to be too involved in what's going on. These things I can read and watch, but I need to limit that time a little bit, or I might need to. Again, everybody living a different life, and I'm not necessarily here to tell you what to do. I'm just explaining how, that space in itself is a distraction, and they're doing everything in their power to keep you on these. And it's like, not to make it spookism, because again, it's not that deep, but it can be, depending on your level of discernment and the spirit, and whether or not you're aware enough to be able to utilize these things for a actual goal you have in real life, versus get lost in the things from it. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Free, because she made a tweet talking about how Instagram is potentially getting sued based upon depression, emotional distress in children and preteens and things like that, which, hey, you know what I'm saying? And you got to think, we in a time right now where social media sites are being sued, and we know all these legal practices and what they're doing. Some of these things be real, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of these things also be, we know whatever we see, government is going to try to find some way to utilize it to incorporate what they want to issue as a new system. So think about it like this, right? So right now they got a lot of people emotionally aroused and protecting kids on the internet, right? Which again, that sounds like a very positive thing. It's like, yeah, we should have regulations to get these kids safe on the internet, because we know how crazy the internet is. You got weirdos all over the place, weirdos, you know what I'm saying, just with free access, and young kids who don't know any better with no protection, right? So and like, again, so we can all agree, okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Do something to help the kids. But guess what? Right now, we know they're trying to get control over these online systems. And what better way to manipulate a common interest amount that plays on your heartstrings, right? Emotional. And again, oh yeah, y'all should regulate it. Next thing we know, a couple years, everything you had free access to as far as information or ability to do your thing, as far as your business goes or whatever you do on the internet, they start to expect some restrictions on that. No longer gonna be able to just use these things for free. Even how they would, again, places like Twitter or X, you know what I'm saying, got a subscription service. So now the conversation comes into, again, are we willing to pay for these social media sites and stuff like that? Or, you got to pay now to post, you got to be a member, a part of the membership to post, based upon the regulations that we put on that looked like they was something positive at front, on the front street, but ended up being something that, again, is flip the script. They always take something that sound good to everybody, right? And they take it a little further. They turn it into something that could work for their benefit to get more control over things. You know what I'm saying? And again, can't say they wrong on the front end, because it's like, no, the internet is a wild place. But, and very unrealistic to stop kids from getting on the internet when it's accessible through thing. You know what I'm saying? Even the phone. So, and the phone has become so important based upon how they got their system set up. Most parents can't afford to be there with their kid 24/7 to monitoring these things like that. So of course your kid has a phone, because you might be at work, they might be at school, y'all might need to talk. And then again, a lot of fear mongering going on with just, again, effects of what they can blame on the internet as a scapegoat, right? As why it's harder to even have school these days, because again, every 2 minutes a school is getting locked down based upon online talking about he gonna harm somebody at school, or bringing some kind of weapon, or involved in drugs. And it's like, this is as young as kids in middle school. Y'all know how crazy middle school get. You know what I'm saying? So it's some real things going on under the rug that we don't even see. And that's why right now, there's not a time to sit around and bullshit, because you're not going to have as much active freedom or ability to reach as many people as you can right now. You know, everything is in this age of Aquarius, things are going to condense in a way where, again, like how we even was talking about power grids shutting down, and you know, they can just turn off the world's Wi-Fi and shit like that. All of a sudden you can't get online again. AT&T, all the phones was down. The plane stuff, you know what I'm saying, with the airport, oh yeah, we just can't take flights because our technology is insufficient, or whatever they say is the blame of it. But the point of it, if, and all the way down to money, we're talking about, hey, if all your money is on an online system and that system gets turned off, or they decide to turn your shit off based upon the very common things that you're used to getting away with, like for instance, you might not have paid a bill, you know, or you might have, again, just debt in general. You got a little debt that you ain't been paying and you've been ducking the creditors. All of a sudden, they just turn credit cards off, all your crypto wallets off. Now you can't pay for nothing until you pay that debt. And guess what? Oh, I ain't got it right now. Well, guess what? We got a little camp you could go to. You know what I'm saying? We got a little job for you. We got a little rehabilitation to help you, again, work for us, some kind of labor force or something like that, where now you got to subscribe to some kind of thing that they want, and you're complete mercy of them and whatever they need you to do and whatever they want you to do, right? So it's like, you know, yeah, shout out to Joel, right? It's like it's so many things. And like, again, this is not no fear mongering shit. This is just real. We need to be aware of on a, like, this is where it's going. You know what I'm saying? This is where it's going. Like, you have to be a fool to think your access and freedom on this internet shit is gonna last 26. You be a fool. Looking in real life and seeing how things are already changing. You know what I'm saying? We have to be and again, that's when I talk about of things like community, it goes way beyond just having fun go time with the homies and stuff like that. It goes way beyond that. It goes further beyond making a TV show and having fun with friends and shit. This is real life stuff, because if you think about it, the only way we got for real without this internet stuff is if we in some form of community where I can reach out and have a conversation with you. I don't have to depend on this phone, that phone, travel, internet. I don't have to depend on these things that can be turned off like this in a time where they're very clearly trying to regain control, but they're trying to do it in a way they always do, where they make you think it was your idea. And then when you start complaining about it, you know, only one you can blame is yourself through the many different programs they got set up for you. Oh, I voted for this person, so damn, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we voted for this. Everybody looking at this inflation stuff like it's normal. It's like, you know, this is so many things, and they set you up to where it's like you around depressed because you broke in a system somebody else created that wasn't even made for you. You had no record. This was not part of your system when you came here. This is something somebody else gave to you, and now you got all these thoughts and feelings about it. Rule everything around you. Your mind on money, your heart on money, that's the root of real evil. You know what I'm saying? Right. Manipulation and control. They done made you to be depressed about something they created that ain't really real. And it's like, that's what I was saying in the beginning. It's like, we have to regain that power, get our power back, in the sense of just reminding ourselves like what's really going on. So when it things like community, this is very real. And it's not about, it's about wherever you're at. Either you're willing to travel and kick it with those who's doing the same things as you and you can really have heart to hearts with, or and when again, that's not no la la land shit. That's you making it make sense in reality too. That's not saying, oh, let's all quit our jobs and move to our island like Nature Boy and shit like that and have something. That's that cult stuff. What I'm talking about is real community. Okay, we understand the world we in. We have the ability to see the context of the world. So we know we have to utilize some of these systems to make it make sense for us. But along the way, we're going to be able to contribute with each other teamwork make the dream work. Now we can build something that's a form of protection. What it really is really just us creating a system for how they did. And through that system, again, if they were to decide to turn off phones, well, shit, if we kicking it together, I can communicate any message I need to the people who need to know it. And again, if we really big, we have systems where we know how to travel and get the message to who we need to get it to, right? Same thing goes with resources. If they turn my wallet off, I can still get food, water, and my essentials or whatever I need based upon me being with other people who got certain things to offer. And then boom, now we can recreate a system that don't rely on whatever whatever program they got. Shout out to Etheric Moss, you know what I'm saying? Grand Rising, you know what I'm saying? Right, recognize God value. Crypto is a number on a computer, you know what I'm saying? When you look at your credit card, you know what I'm saying? Like, imagine if you could just type in $1 million in a little credit card, like when you pull up the app, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is just numbers. Like, people just taking numbers from you, you getting numbers, like your pay stub, direct deposit, they just put a number in. That shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Money is just a paper, right? This is value, and that's why, like, even before I was saying your uniqueness is your actual value right now. You know what I'm saying? Uranus and Taurus right now. So and that's in conjunction with the moon. So misunderstanding how to feel about our uniqueness, and this makes sense in the form of relating, right? Shout out to my boy Tom, you know what I'm saying? Caught the live. Yes sir, yes sir. Y'all check him out and go ahead and put your TikTok, you know what I'm saying, your social links in the chat. He be making music and some he be dropping some real good videos too. Check him out. Also check out Etheric Moss. He be kicking real good game about, you know, children, you know what I'm saying, good astrology for kids and raising your kids, knowing, you know, with the real wisdom. You know, right, you said play the game, follow the money, right? And really, if you play the game, you'll start that the game is, since money is just created, it's like you could really kind of follow the money. You make money. You are the money in a sense in their eyes. They see us as the economy. And the whole idea of being a content creator and getting on and using your uniqueness to generate some form of income, like all this stuff is like, man, look, we gotta cut the middleman. You know what I'm saying? We gotta cut the middleman. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, real talk right now. It's some real things, you know, that's just that's where we're leading to, you know, and to extreme degrees where, you know, there's even stories you say, make it work for us, right? Because that's all it is. It's a tool, and we see how it's them. Same thing, it needs to be used amongst us, where we can take that same, and that's why, that's how we keep that balance, where we're not too spiritual, we're not too la la landish, where it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna quit my job and move to Costa Rica, that on the island, and be butt naked and don't, you know what I'm saying, and now I got a RICO case, or now I got something, I'm, you know what I'm saying, somebody in jail, and you still poor, and you still creating havoc in other people, taking people away from their families and stuff, all this kind of weird stuff. Calm down for a moment, you know what I'm saying? And that's the good part also about this Virgo energy, grounding and saying, let's make it make sense for us, you know what I'm saying? Well, yeah, like we might be at that job right now, and what that job is doing is helping us support what we need to do, but for the most part, we don't want to be doing that forever. And we know we can, if we come together with the right individual, we could possibly create a system that works even better than this system that we've been under, you know what I'm saying, that we've been kind of, you know, that most people have been blind to, you know what I'm saying, or blind within. But you know, get energy. So, you know, with the moon in Libra, again, good communication right now. We need to be communicating from a true place. Again, the gossip gonna sound really good, but that's not where it's at. That's not really the truth. That's not the truth of it. You know what I'm saying? So you might need to keep your nose clean and do what you need to do. Communicate that represent your character. Because right now, remember, the next sign is Scorpio. Astrology helps us understand progression. So if the next moon is Leo, that creates a square with Leo. So again, you the one gossiping today, you the one being talked about tomorrow. You the one involving yourself in somebody else's drama. Again, you could be at work a coworker telling you how they then got the worst situation possible and everything, and their life is going down, and you eating it up because you bored at work. You like, oh dang, for real? I had a situation like that too. I had this. I was feeling like this. You adding on to it. Y'all creating a little bubble for now. Again, it might not be tomorrow. It might not be when Scorpio hits, but best believe you're creating an experience though to feel those same exact things that person was kicking off. So it just happened through communication, and communication is so light you might not think it's that. You know what I'm saying? Just like, again, the issue air signs have with water. You might not have thought it was that deep, but you was kicking some good game, and you was making certain things feel like it was real. In certain areas it was not. You kept it light, but whoever you that to, they took it to heart. You got to be careful right now. And again, that's in the form of you relating to somebody outside of you, but within you. Even if you having a bad day, let's say you having a bad day today, and you talking to yourself in your head in an extremely negative way, man, nothing works out for me, man. Oh damn, I'm gonna be struggling with this forever. All of a sudden you just creating yourself a nice little bath of just like bathing in dirt. You know what I'm saying? You bathe on dirt. You in the tub, and you got a dark ass ring around you in that tub. You know what I'm saying? So we have to be very careful right now of what is occupying our minds, especially with the moon trining Mars, because basically whenever you get the moon and Mars together, this is being highly emotionally aroused by passion and aggression. You know what I'm saying? You're emotionally aggressive at the moment. You know what I'm saying? You can be emotionally aggressive, and through the form of communication. Again, somebody say something, it rub you the wrong way. Before you know it, you done locked into that way of seeing. Now everything in your mind is racing about what something was said. And again, at the end of all, big fat old in conjunction with Saturn, you misunderstanding the reality of it based upon your emotional state. It's a delusion. Spoke on something as if it was really you, but you was just caught up in an illusion. That's like if you were to sign a contract either under the influence or you sleep. Like you signed a contract when you was drunk. You were drunk. You woke up the next day, they calling your phone. You like, damn, what's going on? And you was in some kind of delusion, and you made agreements. So now you got to pay for that. So think about that in your everyday life. When you get consumed by an emotion, you're possessed in a sense. Some people get possessed, but sometimes you just think about it as being highly intoxicated. You done felt too much about something. You got too deep in your feelings. Your spirit is intoxicated. So you blacked out as a spirit. You lost all that function. You stumbling around in your human body. You superhuman now. You like, oh, you making all kinds of upon how you feel. You saying this, you cussing that person out. You know what I'm saying? Saying that to that person. They didn't need to hear that. That might, and you know how I'm gonna take this analogy even further. You know how they say, oh, you tell the truth when you drunk. See, about that is like, I don't always entirely believe that, because you really just talking about how you feel, and how you feel really ain't real. But see, you can say that's how you truly feel. Like, oh, I truly feel. So that's you telling the truth. But you got to think about it. Sometimes you not your feelings anyway. So just because you might, because we all got a bunch of feelings. Sometimes we feel two things that are completely opposite about somebody. I like this person, but I don't like this person. At the same time, I love this person, but this drives me nuts. Same time. So you got to understand, like, so when you in certain emotions, you leaning on that side might not be really the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like I might be going off on a tangent and shit like that, but I don't want to go too far. But if you understand what I'm saying, y'all get what I'm saying. It's like we have to be aware that whenever we in the emotions and I like to look at, there's certain, like when I think of anxiety, I look at anxiety as something that incites a deeper emotion. Like there's like starter emotions lead you to certain areas. You know what I'm saying? Things like anxiety, it'll lead you to worry. It'll lead you to, and that worrying can either be something that help you get up off your ass as a motivator, something that takes you into deeper doubt and procrastination based upon you again. And this is where we get into the good stuff, because this is where, based upon your individual trauma that you've been through, this is where you get triggered. And it's almost like a pinball machine where it's like, if it get an angle, you can guarantee the ball gonna go down. Like, you know how like in pinball, if you hit a certain angle, it is nothing you can do. The ball just gonna go down and get in into the reset. So it's almost like when you got triggered, you could think of that as like almost like, okay, so if you're intoxicated by a certain emotion, you're already leading yourself down a path, but you get triggered by something, all of a sudden it's like a pilot mode. And now until you work out that trauma, and that's why shadow work is important. That's what the purpose of shadow work is for. It's making you more aware of your subconscious space to understand certain things like your traumas and triggers, so that when these happen, it's almost like you're hitting it from a different angle. It's not just automatic autopilot to the reset, where now you done went through you repeated a situation. It might be completely different, but the energy the same. You might have went through something, you know what I'm saying? It's certain things that lead to that. And things like anxiety is a very common thing we all feel, right? But what we do when we feel anxious, what we do with that is very individual, based upon what level of anxiety or what your relationship to anxiety is. And that's even deeper Libra, because Libra is about relating, and we think external, but how we relate to within ourselves is very important too, because you need to know your relationship with these things based upon, and how you know your relationship based upon certain feelings and experiences, how you feel about experiences. Your relationship to it is kind of rooted in your trauma to it. You know, certain things certain people don't care about. Like, again, certain people don't need you to text them throughout the whole day. Some people go through certain like emotional panic, need certain reassurance, and like, no, we need to be talking throughout the whole day, right? And again, like, you're not necessarily wrong for wanting to do that or not wanting to do the point, but the point is, well, why do you do that? Because if you do it from a space of you genuinely feel like you want to do that, okay, cool. But again, start seeing certain toxic behaviors, and toxic is part of it. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got human nature, so yeah, shit gonna be toxic sometimes. But understanding that comes from helps you be able to. It's like how you do it. When you know what's going on, you able to do it differently. You able to do a way that makes another person not feel like you're possessed at that moment. Oh, you just like reassurance, and I understand why, because you've been XY experience that led to a certain trauma that you're working through though, and you're aware of it. And again, this is where a healthy relationship, and not just from any kind of partnership, can help you heal. And this is why real healing can't even happen from a solo space. You know, you can lick your own wounds for a long time, but it comes a time where unless you actually experiencing other relationships that, or things because it's like, if I were to use another analogy, like when you break your leg, right? You break a bone in your leg, you know, you have to put a cast on it, and you got to be light on it, right? But at a certain point, you have to start putting a little more on what was once broken that is now in the process of healing, right? Once it starts to get back in place, or it kept in place long enough for it to reestablish itself. So this is like you going through a traumatic experience and taking some time to just, you know, to understand that, no, this has really happened, and this is how I feel about it. So, but once we start to accept that, part of that healing is to get out there, do it again, put a little more pressure on that, get involved, and not go too fast. We don't have to run and sprint, full on sprint on this that just got back. But you know, you got to rehabilitate it, or else you're going to be very imbalanced. When you go to walk, you're going to have a limp, because one leg is going to be stronger than the other one. The other leg going to be still scared that it's going to hurt itself, so it's not putting enough force down, and so you're going to have a weird walk. You know what I'm saying? But that's real shit. It's like part of real healing. You got to think in this world, it is about relating and expanding yourself. You know what I'm saying? The time to contract is when you go through the experience and you say, oh wait, let me find myself again. I was lost. You know what I'm saying? I was too lost in this, that, and the third. Let me find myself again. Once you find yourself and you start to know, okay, I need to heal through this. That's part of putting pressure. That's you relating, not running away, because a lot of people will start running away from the things that hurt them. Oh, I never want to be in a relationship no more. I never want to do this. Or not helping yourself. You're hurting yourself. Healing got to come from re-engaging. That's part of the steps. You know what I'm saying? I was going off for a while. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Equilibrium. You said that's my biggest thing. Sometimes I go to the worst case scenario or fear take over. Some right. And see that ain't even bad all the it's like sometimes to go to the worst, you know, I understand that. Like I with my Scorpio rising, I do that too. I look at the death of it and I be like, damn, if that were to be the transformation, prepare myself for it. But that's the whole thing. It's like how you go about using that. Because whatever you do naturally, your natures, you do that, and you can kind of take that on two roads. You could look at yourself and say, what past life and current life traumas I developed, or just things I'm not comfortable with at all, that make me like this. Because you could root this back to, like, again, a parent that was just a little unreliable with certain things, and that makes you assume like I'm just gonna look at the worst case because I didn't got in certain areas that I needed protection or whatever. And then when whatever we see, we can even trace that back further, because we have to realize, okay, well, if this is how my actual physical parent treated me, I wonder what other context that plays out in my life. That kind of leads you down a whole, you know, unravel to get you closer to the core of, like, I'm not gonna say the core of that wound, but a lot of times what we react to and how we naturally are comes from something that wounded us, and again, either in this life or past lives. So but once you start to link between certain things, then you see in the pattern, then you know how to interrupt the pattern, or you know when the pattern is right. You know when, oh no, you know, incorporate it. You know, you say, oh well, if I look at the worst case scenario and just, you know, set myself to prepare for it, but I turn that part of me off because I know that's just coming from a trauma. So I set myself, you know, like, you could work with it, but you know what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? Right. You said alcohol awakens your sun sign, your moon sign comes out, right? Weakens your sun sign. You said alcohol weakens your sun sign, which is true. So you're right. That's what I always experience with alcohol. It's like, my moon come out. You know what I'm saying? But people who get blacked out, they oof, you know what I'm saying? That's tough. You know what I'm saying? I never could do that. Always, whatever, anything I ever took, I always wanted to have authority over my body, or in my spirit. Really, my body though. I was like, nah, I want to. No matter what substance, it's like I need, you know, and I'm not touching nothing that I lose control of myself. He said too much sun gives you sunburn, right? Libra depositor in fall, in Virgo fatal attraction. So, oh, you talking about the sun? He said La Luna Illuminia. I'm bad at that. You said you are in a straight amount. Okay, cool. He said great advice. Yeah, start the friend. Oh, okay, it's some French in here. That's what's up. Shout out to France. Make a trip. But yeah, I'm just catching up on y'all comments. Shout out to Mooney Mercury baby in the building. You know what I'm saying? Mooney Tarantino. Check out his latest music video and his latest tape. That shit bumping. M7. I'm trying to hear what M8 gonna sound like. That shit crazy. But yeah, so back to shit. So, you know, that's what it is right now, you know, and so with this Libra energy, how we relate inward is like, you really gotta understand, like, okay, you know, you gotta sort these things out, because these things are what trip us up when we're trying to come correct. You know what I'm saying? And there's those moments in your life trying to do things the right way. You feeling righteous. You're like, yo, I know me, and I'm on track, and you trying to have a good face card. But a lot of things you did when you was kind of mixed up and all over the place, it can create those ripples in other people to you, which again, on one level doesn't really matter. But again, we in a world where relationships are important. So you gotta take heed to that if you want to operate in the world efficiently. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's not about for that. You got to do it out of truth, and whatever falls apart from that is what to fall apart. But the things that stick, when you're being your authentic self, now you have help, you have assistance, you have people I'm not gonna say can depend on all the time, who you can, you know, again, that can assist you and you can assist them. Because, you know, depend that starts to turn into something else, you know what I'm saying, where people be codependent and people, you know, take advantage of that. And I'm not trying to put nobody in no situation they get taken. Like, you do got to set them boundaries, and right now is that time where that's really important too, especially with this Libra energy. Another thing with Libra sextiling the sun right now, and it being the sun and moon, you can be highly agreeable to some you low-key don't agree with at all. Could set yourself up real bad right now just by wanting to be accepted, wanting to be validated, wanting to be agreeable. So this is that's why I was saying, like, this opportunity is tricky. I see through the node, and you got to see through the yod, and the yod being with Pisces and Saturn. Again, you can make a lot of just out of my heart moves that low key, like, that's not truly what you was trying to do. Like, if you ain't true, and you got to think practically too. Let's say you really ain't got it, you genuinely ain't got it to give, but here comes somebody hold something that, you know, and because you care about them and you misunderstand how they care about you and how you feel about it, you wanting to be agreeable, you wanting to be liked. Now you done express yourself and opened yourself up to a person who's just looking to take certain things from you. So we can't lose sight of who's who in our life right now. Again, things are going to sound so good to be a part of. Oh, the conversation good. Oh, this good. They talking like this. You going to want to jump in, but we got to be very, very aware. He said, love catching your logic. He said, can you talk about the Lionsgate? Man, I wrote down in my notes what people think the Lions versus what it actually is. And it really is just a fancy name for a certain point we hit in Leo, and they equate it to the new energy, right? And I hate to burst everybody's bubble, you know what I'm saying? It's not no, like the way most people talk about it. I'm not gonna say, because there's some who can create a good interpretation of it that makes, you know, that's valid, because it's energy. We all experiencing these energies. So how they kick it, hey, that's how they kick it. But I'll say this, I'll say with the Lionsgate, understanding just in the context of, you know, the lion representing like Leo energy, right? So if you think of a gate or a portal, it's kind of going through, it's kind of like a no turn back type of vibe, where you're stepping into something, you stepping through a doorway, a portal, if you will, or a gate. And basically it's the idea of that character. You're stepping into what's supposed to be your true self and your true character without looking back. So it's kind of like a point, I believe, in where we in this Leo energy, and it's about, like I be saying, how in the springtime we gave birth to a certain perception of how we wanted to be seen, an ego, and ego in a sense. We gave birth to certain ideas that supported that new way of seeing things in Aries season. You know, we went to transition of the spring, now we in the summertime. Cancer set us up to feel some kind of way, and now in Leo, everything Leo represents as a fixed fire sign, again, being full on in that confidence, you know what I'm saying, walking around with your chest out, you know, and that confidence supporting that character that you're trying to portray. So a Lionsgate, understand in the context of your life how it would make sense is at this, like that turning point where that decision needs to be made. You got to make that decision of who you are and who you want, how you want to show up. You know what I'm saying? And like I said before, it's all about just making sure these things align. Things are going to change, you know what I'm saying? Because things don't stay fixated forever. But Lionsgate is kind of a hype up idea of you stepping through that phase and being like, okay, no, this, I'm standing in my energy now. You know, that's how I interpret it. Now you can count other things like, oh, it's a numerology 8, you know, it's an 888 day, and again, we're in a year 8. So the add on to what I just said by considering time, the time that been taken, you know what I'm saying? Because everybody's experiencing with anything that you got going on in life right now, no matter how fast you try to go, life gonna slow you down. And the whole lesson is, it's kind of like a mantra to be like, I'd rather do it than to rush and mess it all up. You know, it's a smoother way to say that, but it's about going slow enough to get it correct. Like getting it correct is way better than just getting it done. You know what I'm saying? Got to do it correctly. You said with my chest out. Shout out Kodak Black, right? Gemini shit. Yeah. So it's about doing it right. You know, and that's why Virgo is so helpful right now, because Virgo is reminding us like, hey, I know you want to get it done, but we have to go slow enough to get it right. No matter how slow that is to you. Everybody on a different path. Everybody got a different pace. So it's like, no matter how that might be for you, you got to honor that. And you can't try to look at what somebody else is able to achieve, and all of that's going to lead you to procrastination, the negative shit, waiting on stuff, self-doubt, not doing stuff, all those things that, again, that's going to show you, oh, at the end of year 8, how did you spend your time? And you know, it's been a lot of talk about time management and what it really is, and Saturn and stuff, because that's what it's coming down to. Even in the world, we see, I don't directly correlate this, but it being a year 8, and that, again, everything kind of is based around time. People main issue, like the common humans issue right now with their reality that they lost in, is, and everybody can relate to, at these jobs or whatever, spending a tremendous amount of time, right, for not enough sources from that time to show for it. So it's like, it's one thing to be spending you working 40 hours a week, but all my bills paid and I got a little something to spend on the family or who I want to kick it with, or myself, right? It's one thing to do that, but then it's another thing to work 40 hours or 40 plus hours, and stuff is still too expensive, and you ain't got enough for having no kind of for yourself, unless you take away from a bill and you live a little bit on the edge and live in debt for a little bit. So everybody's like, kind of like, what the fuck, as far as their time being compensated correctly. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, again, that's a natural reaction. Like I said, I don't directly correlate it with it 8. I think that's just what, you know, but you know, with the spirit, everything kind of be in sync. You know what I'm saying? You know, everything kind of be in sync. One thing lead to another, and this is where their system kind of crumbles. But again, people lost in their system are gonna crumble with it. The individuals who can see beyond that shit, be able to calculate and say, oh, well, no, this actually the time to get bread. Oh, it's a recession outside. Oh, I can have to run it up, because we know the game they play, and we know how they set it up. We know how, and again, from practice and even videos, what we're talking about, these things are building our awareness to be able to see the game. Is when you know what game is being played based upon your level of awareness, comprehend what is happening to you, and you can be intentional about what you do with you. You know what I'm saying? So that's the whole thing. The awareness leads to better comprehension. Better comprehension leads to better intention. Better intention leads to more accurate results. So being a better magician, doing certain things that actually get the job done or get the desired result, that lead to satisfaction. And with satisfaction, that's one of those very powerful energies, because with satisfaction, shit, that is really what the idea of heaven, you know, should be. Their idea of heaven is unlimited pleasure, which, think about satisfaction. Satisfaction doesn't mean unlimited pleasure. It means just enough, maybe a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Just more than just enough. So, you know, I'm satisfied, you know, eating till you're, you know, satisfied, versus being a glutton. Eating, I done ate till I felt full. Now you got to take that nap. Versus I ate till I was satisfied. I still got enough energy to do my day, to do it, and I mean, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? And again, remember, we heading into Virgo time, so yeah, your health and your, you know, in PC with Saturn retrograde in Pisces, we already was on that kind of wave where we was trying to take care of ourselves in different kind of ways that we might not have tried before, to figure out, you know, trying to get more, I'm not gonna say more, but trying to make a better system for ourselves, because that's what Saturn subconsciously does. It's all about systems. So, you know, with this Libra energy, you know, it's big on that. You know what I'm saying? It's big on that. So, and we was talking about Lionsgate, and that's all Lionsgate really is. It's about Leo energy and stepping into that power yourself. you know, and you really got to know yourself and be willing to stand on what you stand on, like it's no looking back. Just think about it like this, and it's okay. Everybody on their own path and making their own pace. And see, we're hyper aware of mistakes because the sun is trine in Chiron. So, and right now in particular, the moon is opposite Chiron. So it's a powerful energy for really course correcting yourself, because we have the ability to see these mistakes right in front of us. Mercury retrograde near bringing those mistakes right back, or a scenario right back, in which we have to utilize our gift to see the mistake and what we did in the past that led to, you know, the need for healing. And then now the moon is opposite to that. So you just, right now in particular, don't be too scared to understand the emotional nature of that. But the emotions are 180 degrees away from the mistake. So and you're it's almost like everybody determined to not make the same mistake twice, if they see what the mistake is to begin with, and they're not too scared or lying to themselves about it. And I think Lilith is in Libra. Remember, it's dancing between Libra and Virgo. Whoa. It's dancing between Libra and Virgo. So that the moon low-key trining Lilith right now. So again, emotional fears, emotional, you know, not worried about something. When it comes to Lilith in general, you know, you can grow envious based upon what you see other people have. And then Lilith with Libra energy, it's afraid that you could be afraid to maybe speak up. You could, it's a lot of things. And see, the Lilith energy, now that I'm understanding this in Libra, right? It's also trying in Jupiter. It's trying in Mars. So it's like we're gonna try to think our way out of fear and anxiety right now. We're gonna try to think our way out of it. That's kind of what that Lilith in Libra is. It's like we're gonna try to think about it. We might even try to, based upon our relationship with that fear, we might try to ignore it. But everything we do except for it is not gonna create balance. Everything we try to do except for try to, you know, say instead of face it, everything we try to do is gonna form an imbalance. You know, so, you know, don't create a justification for why you scared. That's like that, you know, Lilith and Virgo shit. You'll justify, because Libra brings that justification. You know what I'm saying? If you not addressing these things and you're not creating balance with these things, then your fear is basically gonna put you in that space where it's like you're not gonna have no healthy balance or way to deal with it. You're gonna overcome. And I forgot the word what I had said right before that. But you said befriend your fear. You gotta, like, yeah, right. You gotta, like, what's the best way to put it? Because right now with Lilith also trying in Jupiter and Mars, so it's like forms of expanding it, making it more than what it really is. You know, it's more than what it is because you're not looking at it. Like when something is in the shadows, it's way more, you know, how they say in horror movie, can't see the actual monster or whatever. It's way more terrifying than when I see them on screen, because once I can see it on screen, I know what it's gonna look like. So think of fear like that. Fear seem hyped up, but you can't physically see it. It's something that's creeping around the corner. But if you face it, you look at it for what it is, you realize, oh, it's not scary at all. It's just and I've seen creatures like it, or I've seen a combination of what this creature could be made of. And once you do that, then you can kind of decipher what it could, you know what I'm saying? It's like different things you can kind of break down from that. Just like if you were to see a monster, you say, oh, I see what kind of animal it kind of look like, and it's remind me of this, and I don't think it's, you know, all that stuff. So we have to do that with our fear with Lilith right now. And Lilith will trick you into not wanting to communicate. It'll trick you into, you know, again, and all these different things are just going to create imbalance in your life. You know, not wanting to communicate, not wanting to actually develop a relationship with the things you're afraid of, or, you know, the things that, because it's almost like fear is that filter in between what you really want. Yeah, I want this, but what if this goes this way, or will it work out? It's like you had the dream, you had the vision, but you put something in front of it. You blocked it. And if that stays too, and again, you use that to add ideas on how to approach that goal, but the second you allow it to fully encompass or block off what you are trying to do or what you're trying to see, then you don't see nothing but that fear, and you lose touch of what to believe in. You know what I'm saying? You lose touch of faith. You know what I'm saying? You're not able to take advantage of the miracles. You know what I'm saying? Miracles be things where you're just in alignment. Certain things work out because you're in alignment. You know, you've made that decision mentally to go for something regardless, and whatever crops up, again, you sit with it long enough with a solution rather than worry about it not working out. You know what I'm saying? How things start to break down. Because when you start worrying about how it's not going to work out, well, that's not, again, you the person who's supposed to come up with the solution. And you might be so anxious because you haven't found a solution yet. But some things take trial and error. You might be trying to think about it too much, and then or you might be trying to create a feeling that makes you comfortable enough to do the solution that you have. Because it's like how they say the universe always provides. You always know the answer. But with these questions, we try to jump on, you know, different calls. We're like, hey, what you think about this? What you think about this? At the end of the day, it's really about you. Everybody else think is just how they think. And that's you know, again, you can use it if you can find something, but at the same time, it's not gonna have the same effect, because if they and do it how they did it, you got to go through it and do it how you do it. That's what God did. So you supposed to be the first in line to do something like that. Okay, I have to do the experience, and as I go, piece it together so that I interpret it. You know what I'm saying? You be trying to get other people's interpretations before you do something, because it makes you feel more comfortable. So you could watch a million videos of somebody talking about the thing you really want to do way faster before you actually just go out and do it. And again, especially with Jupiter and Gemini, thirsty for information. Fear is going to drive you right into reading a million articles, watching a million videos, buying a million courses. You could have took that $1 million into the experience of you going through a trial and error, but instead you wasted it hearing somebody else talk about their experience with a trial and error. And again, even their advice is a trial and error in and of itself, because if you were to think word for word, it's not going to work out for you the same. And that's how they keep you coming to their classes. You know what I'm saying? Shameless plug, you know, the Each One Teach One right around the corner. That's a real class where it's multiple individuals. You know, it's Each One Teach One. So we, you know, we're the instructors and stuff, but y'all just as part of the class and the wisdom and knowledge being talked about as we are. You know what I'm saying? We just provide a direction on the topic and what we're talking about, what makes the Each One Teach One class pop, and what makes it, you know, hit way harder than your average course is that it's not regurgitated information. This is going through different experiences and fleshing out different angles that show a wider perspective on what could possibly be going on pertaining to the subject. But then we get into our individual lives as well, you know, add context to certain information. So when you know, but you know, right now, you know, that's that, you know, when you're with yourself and you're in your own thoughts and you're dealing with, you know, whether or not you should go for something, you're trying to come up with a decision, distractions come in, you got to fight through all that and just, again, commit to what you're going to commit to, what you really want to do. And again, like I said before, it's not about abandoning all logic and going purely off of just what you feel like. This is about you understanding what needs to be done, because we have responsibilities and we all got shit that needs to be done. So to neglect those things, you put yourself in a box, you put yourself at a disadvantage. So don't do that either. You know what I'm saying? Understand that, okay, I got to use all these things as tools. You know what I'm saying? I got to be the master of my craft. Like, honestly, living life is like master of your craft. If your craft was to live, you know, so, or to, you know, to die correctly. Because how you die correctly is living correctly. You know what I'm saying? In a sense. Now the moon is also, so the moon is opposite, like I said before, Chiron and the North Node. So just feeling uncomfortable with any form of a past mistake. You know what I'm saying? Anything can kind of damn near trigger kind of an emotional wound or something like that, dealing with you relating to something. You know, take that where you need to take it. So you know, moon being opposite Chiron, again, it can show us where we need to address more attention, right? But at the same time, you just want to make sure you create balance with it by not running away from it. Opposite the North Node, you know, it's going to feel real comfortable to slip back into an old way of doing something. And we have to wait, we have to hold ourselves and say, wait a minute, why am I going about it like that? Is it because it genuinely works better in this present moment and I can incorporate it in a healthy way, or because Gray brought me something that I see is actually another way of going about it? Or am I clinging on to what's familiar? Am I clinging on to what feels good because I'm terrified? I'm terrified of what's going to happen in this new space where I might not be able to do what, you know, I don't, you know, not everybody feels like they got the ability to go through things like that. You know, you might have kids and you in a situation where they all depend on you. You know, you got multiple kids, they all depend on you, and here you are trying to experiment with something. So you feel highly uncomfortable about that. And again, you have to kind of discern, you know, that can look like for you though. Because again, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. All is not lost. It's about understanding just the context, what I'm dealing with as a responsibility, and what I have available as time to give towards time and energy towards this, and this being whatever you're trying to do for yourself. So if you can create even the smallest space everyday life for that to exist, it can grow. It's a planting a seed. A seed, again, flowers just need a little bit of water. Don't, you know, don't drown it in water. Don't sit there every day worried about, you know, because think about it like this. That's something growth operation. Oh, come on. I need this fruit. Come on, I need this fruit. That's how a lot of y'all be with money. Looking at y'all wallet like, come on, like, come on, I need it. Imagine, you know what I'm saying, when you see that homeless person scratching themselves at the bus stop, come on, I just give me a quarter. You know what I'm saying? That feeling you get, like, nah, man, I'm sorry, nah. And some people might just give out of just whatever. But my point is, that's, you know, that's the certain energies that y'all giving off. It's an aura. So when you get around other people, you done attracted people who are on the same type of time as you. You know what I'm saying? That's why everybody around you might seem like an opportunist. Everybody around you seem like focused on one thing. Everybody around you seem to not have no time for nothing except for what can you do for me? You know what I'm saying? But then that's an example of this energy. Sun in Libra. I mean, Sun in Leo. I'm tripping. Sun in Libra. I said it again, bro. I'm tripping, bro. I'm coming for night. I'm tired as hell. But Sun in Leo, Moon in Libra. You know what I'm saying? Expressing this character is not true to you, but you trying to uphold it. You know what I'm saying? You said Mercury retrograde, right? And here I am trying to talk fast and shit. Slow down. But, you know, that's a prime example of expressing this character. And that ain't truly you. You know what I'm saying? All that shit is like, it's you know what I'm saying? Say, shout out to In Tune Deep. That's kind of, I like that name. Yeah. So that's an example of this energy at play. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, you expressing a certain side of your character based upon you trying to be relatable. Next thing you know, sign that contract in a way. And again, right now, and getting back to my point, you say I'm subbing now, just found this channel. All right, shout out to you. Yeah, welcome aboard. You know what I'm saying? Where we go beyond that everyday bullshit that people be consuming on a day-to-day basis. So, you know, when we think about, like I said before, you know, because I started just talking about the moon being opposite the North Node, so naturally it's conjunct the South Node. It's gonna feel comfortable. But see, there's in the South Node too. The South Node reminds us a lot of, you know, where we come from, what we've mastered, or what we should be by now. There might be new things that we discover in that bag, but you know, it's like we want to be able to still be willing to step into something uncomfortable, which is the North Node. Opposite the North Node, we know, like, emotionally, we gonna want to cling to what feels cool. But we know that right now it's time for change. Speaking of change, the moon is in conjunct Uranus, misunderstanding how to go about change in a realistic way. So we got certain things on our mind. We know we need to change, and we try in our life and say, well, what should I change? Because I only got a little time, you know, with my other responsibilities. What can I change that's going to actually be impactful? What can I change that's going to help me gain a little bit more, you know, stability or security, you know? And so we misunderstand that right now. And so it just might take a little time. Both of these energies, right? Libra is Venus. So that's where the moon is at. And the Uranus is in the day side. No, I got that reversed. The moon is in Libra. So that's the day side of Venus. And the moon, and Venus is in Taurus. So that's the night side of Venus. So these sides are the same coin. You know, when it comes to the moon, it's kind of trying to do the more masculine job, basically. So that's more so with this. So that would be like Libra is like more outward about relating, more outward it values, support even, you know what I'm saying, willing to support sometimes to his detriment, right? Taurus is more so the internal, holding something in as far as a self-value and, you know, keeping that precious. And it's like they might keep it dry with you on surface, but you don't really know how deep a Taurus get with certain stuff. So that the moon is in this masculine space, that's what we feel, and we can see how we feel, basically, and we can see how others feel based upon the communication and what we kicking, right? When it comes to Taurus, Uranus change is coming from actual reality. So what's stable, you know? So how we feel right now, we trying to see, okay, what will change, and we trying to talk about it. We trying to create back with it. And the best way to do it is start to feel around in your actual life. When you think and reflect on your life, what is actually feeling like it's imbalanced, you know, for you? What don't you have enough of? And then once you start to get to that conclusion, understand Uranus just trying to find the best way to support that. You know, Uranus and Taurus, that's about, you know, the stability of it. So the best way to kind of approach this is a misunderstanding. So you're just trying to understand, okay, well, what changes are going to lead to my security? The moon's placement to basically be more emotionally aware of where the imbalance is coming from. Because if you know where the imbalance is coming from, you can start to come to a better conclusion on where to direct the realistic steps to make that change worth it, if that makes sense. He said, never knew about that, about signs who share the same planet is being ruled by, right? Yeah, that type of stuff helps with tarot, because you start to understand, you know, energies behind the cards, you know what I'm saying? If it's the Sun card or the Strength card, for example, being a Leo card, you know, and then you understand the natures of Leo. So when you interpret that card, you start to understand those energies and what it, you know, the nature of that energy. So the Strength card from Leo being a fixed fire, you know what I'm saying, and knowing that it's like, so fixed fire, fixated in its way of seeing and expressing itself to make it, you know, or setting the stage. But I ain't going to, I dabble with the tarot, you know what I'm saying, I use tarot and stuff like that, but at the same time, I don't, you know, I don't have a list in my mind of all the like I can the way I interpret it is not from like how people read the little book in the pamphlet of what each energy means. I kind of just look at it, look at the picture, catch a vibe, and then it's just what I know from it, you know what I'm saying? I've seen what those things mean and represent, but yeah. But that's the main thing with the Libra energy in conjuncting Uranus and Taurus, you know. So you know, that's an alignment, that's a misunderstanding, but and that's the biggest thing right now. It's a lot of misunderstanding. So we just got to be patient enough to work out that little, you know, what we not seeing in the other energy. So when it comes to, you know, emotional change or just this change in general, just try to look at what make the most sense to change right now. Because again, you might not be able to just drop everything and switch up your whole lifestyle, but You know, work with what you got. You got to put value into what you got, and you got to, and that's even Venus in Virgo. You know what I'm saying? Venus currently being in Virgo. It's like now we got to just work with what we got, and we got to make that stretch, you know, and make it make sense. Because again, we know we got to get more, and hopefully you put yourself in a situation where you got options, right? Had that main job, but then you got your side hustle going, or you got something looking up in a different area of life, or you just got this talent in this craft and you work it out, you getting it sufficient, you setting it up right now. Hopefully you got something like that going on. If you planting good seeds, that's really where you should be, because that's something that's going to take routine, pattern, consistency, all that Virgo energy, right? It's going to take that, and it's going to need that at the moment. So that's you know, the benefit of that. Planting bad seeds going to look like not only is stuff not working, you still trying to play victim, you still not taking accountability, you know, because like I was saying in the beginning of this energy, like it's not the end of the world type shit. Like just because something don't work don't mean it can't be fixed. Virgo is trying to help you fix it. But if you too busy complaining about it, scared of it, and running away from it, blaming yourself and blaming others, then you're not gonna be able, you're not gonna spot or be aware of the ways in which it can work. And you're not gonna see how it can work. You're gonna lose more and more faith, put yourself deeper and deeper into a hole, going the opposite direction of where you want to be at, just to come to a conclusion. Damn, I was tripping. Damn, I was in la la land. I didn't even know. I thought it was this way. It was really that way. You in a lot of people, this is how people, you know, procrastinate on their dreams, where they something happened, they went to sleep at a young age, woke up, they was 40, you know. And I'm not putting a cap on anybody's ability to reach their dream, but I'm just saying they woke up at 58 and they was like, damn, I done let all this time by for no reason. I done wasted all this time not doing my purpose, not doing what I love to do, not what I was meant to do, because I was scared, or because I didn't want to face that. I didn't want to admit that. And again, if you say you are something like that, that's life. You know what I'm saying? That's life. You might have to come back here, but you might not. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how you choose to live your life after the awareness comes. Because some people are aware, but they're afraid of what they're now aware of too. Some people don't want to take the next step, so they'll kind of go back and hide, and this creates issues in other areas of your life where like you can't relate to nobody. It seems like you ain't got no real ability to build with nobody, because nobody on your same level, you know. But and when I say level, I'm speaking of from that perspective, when you feel like you done seen it, you know, seen a lot, but can't share yourself with others. It kind of starts to become a vulnerability issue you have and stuff. Or now you can't trust nobody. You can't, it's like it hinders you in the long run, because it puts you where, like I was saying before, it's only so much you could do by yourself. So it puts you in a space where you create, because, and everybody do this to a degree. This is just a specific angle of it. Forms of self-sabotage. Everybody does it. And the thing about it, how they say, like, your own worst enemy. Anybody else in the world, like, honestly, compared to what you or us as individuals in general with themselves, nothing is greater than that. Any external enemy you can point at, nothing is more lethal than what you do to you, based upon your thoughts and feelings you create and what you choose to embody. Experiences you create for yourself to go through based upon your stubbornness or your inability to be aware of these things and create the ones that support what you want to see. People torment themselves. That's why they feel the need to harm others. You know what I'm saying? So it's why I'm able to look at certain individuals and understand, like, oh, you at war with yourself in a certain space, you know, and you know what I'm saying? But you know, and again, that's not to say all disgruntled energy is coming from a place of lack. You know what I'm saying? There's real strength in you know, like how, you know what I'm saying, when it's time to condemn something, when it's time to very much needed. But see, when it's done right, it's coming from a way different place than people who come from a place of more so lack or disbelief in themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's different. It hit different. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh no, we needed to hear this. because there are certain things in the world that just have gone on too long, and there's no way to look at it for it to be acceptable. There's no, and really, I mean, it's so many things, it don't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? It don't even make sense. That just goes to show, you know what I'm saying, when something's man-made, it just don't make sense. Universal shit, that shit transcends all things. It's cool. It relates on all levels. You know, that's how you know it's some real truth. Kicking some real game. It's like, oh, it's true on multiple levels. When you kicking some one-sided shit, the shit that they got set up, and you start looking at their moral system from you they created, and it's like it be one-sided. It don't have their context. That's how you know, like how a religious person to come to you be preaching your ear off, but then they go and do the same sin they was trying to cuss you out about. Or they say Jesus is the only way. This one religion is the only way to see the world, but other religions exist. So how is your religion the penultimate? So however they say that, how is your religion the key? You saying that anybody, because that was always the thing that threw me. You telling me only y'all going to heaven because y'all believe, and every world that's not that is just going to disappear or be in hell? Like, who said that? That sounds like something your parent would tell you to help you go to sleep or something like that, or help you feel good on the playground. That don't sound like no real logic. That don't sound like no real wisdom. That don't sound like God. Like, I never thought God would be that. Like, you know, I don't know. It's weird. You know what I'm saying? Because then you ask them something like, well, why would God create all these different, if God was like, nah, pick this one though? Like, why would you even give us the option if yeah, childish. He said, shout out to Chris M. You know what I'm saying? I hope you have a great day too. We'll talk. So I'm about to have a good sleep, bro. I hope I'm not rambling too much, because I am tired. I ain't gonna lie. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. See, yeah, Venus is still in. Said before, we have to just appreciate those the minute, you know what I'm saying, or the minutia. We gotta appreciate the step-by-step basis and in the process of analyzing, and I would say synthesis, where you're trying to synthesize, trying to kind of get away. I don't want to use the word, misuse the word, matter of fact, but in my understanding, it's like get away all the stuff that and maybe that's like siphon, I forget, but you're trying to get away all the excess, trying to get to the core of it. So it's like you don't need all the extra fluff. You're trying to get to the core, and see what, on a foundational level, what works and what doesn't work. What do we need to adjust, and what do we need to maybe incorporate or leave alone entirely, or maybe we need to continue, we needed the whole structure out and build it back from the ground up, because that's even the case too. Some people in that kind of situation in life, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that's about it. Moon trining Jupiter, so expanding on those feelings. Yeah. Yep. Oh, and Pluto tried Pluto slightly. So again, this be the core of transformation right now. You know what I'm saying? The moon being in Libra, and then we got Mars and Jupiter in Gemini trining Pluto. So what we're passionate about and what we're learning, the new information is helping us to create, to carry transformation, right? In a way that actually makes for, because you can have that positive transformation or a negative one. So you being able to go through this energy and have a positive transformation based upon you the right information, but not using information as another scapegoat. Instead, you taking information and you incorporating it into what you got going on. So now you came up with a nice way to go about life that works for you, how you was supposed to, versus again, you let this stuff transform you and take power over you based upon you being too afraid of speaking up, saying what you need to say, doing what you need to do. You're too emotionally aroused in this. That kept you from doing that consistently. You didn't appreciate the process of it on a small level. So now it's like you got caught up in all that airheadness. You got distracted. Next thing you know, this energy passed and do no real work. You know what I'm saying? You didn't really manage this energy, because the real work is where you manage the equilibrium within you. You know who you are. As you're going through these different transits and experiences, you stay true to that. And we continue to relate what's inside. We continue to relate and share that. So, you know, our testimony is heard. We go through different experiences, we different things in the world. We're seen, we're recognized, but we also are aware of others, and those things, you know, that awareness adds to what we do. So yeah, but I can go on and on. Y'all already know. Anyway, I appreciate you. Bye. You know what I'm saying? That's going to be the energies for the most part. So, yeah, just don't be too airheaded. Make sure you don't get too distracted. Stay communicating. But again, from true character, don't just be relatable to late. Make sure that this actually aligns with you. And if it doesn't, be willing to stand on that. We'll be willing to say, you know, whether you got to separate, or, and again, it's a sign of, it might look negative on the surface, but it's got to be you know, loving yourself in a sense, like you got to do this for you. And don't be afraid of that. Virgo needs you to go slow enough to get it right. Remember that. And yeah, I'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget, if you try to be on season 2 of the 717 Creators on Vacation, about the application, it's in the IG bio. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the description bio. It's easier for y'all to find. And you know, if you're interested in being involved, or you got more questions, just, you always send us an email at 717.info@gmail.com. You know what I'm saying? What else? Yeah. Yup. A lot of big moves. But anyway, gotta get to work. Much love. See y'all on the next one. Peace.